Okay, good evening, Hatfield. Welcome to the November 4th, 2024 meeting of the Select Board. I want to go ahead and call the meeting to order and go right into announcements. My first would be the most obvious, that tomorrow is Election Day. So we certainly hope everybody votes. I think a lot of people voted early. And I just want to remind people that tomorrow during Election Day, there will be a bake sale, right? The Real Folk Society will have their annual bake sale downstairs, which is always lovely. Also very important to note, the fire department has issued a burn ban in light of the red flag warnings and the extreme drought conditions we're having locally. It's been all over the news. There's been several fairly large brush fires right in our area. So I do think that that is the right thing to do, and I would encourage people to make sure they're not doing any burning outside. I just want to note too that the Hatfield Fire Department did participate in fighting that brush fire in Northampton, I think for several days. So we're grateful that they did that. And I also want to note that there was something on Facebook about a high volume of calls recently for the fire department. So I have requested from Chief Flaherty just a list of all what those calls were. I'd just like to get a sense of, obviously there'll be no information about, specifics, but I'm just curious if they're, what they all were. It says that there were 52 calls in the last 2 weeks. So I'm just curious what those are and how those are counted. I did have a talk or a conversation with Chief Flaherty today and asked him for that information. So hopefully I will be getting that. And then on a great note, we just want to congratulate the Smith Academy Boys Varsity Soccer for advancing in the MIAA Division 5 state playoffs. Congrats to them.
Oh, okay. I just want to give an update on the 5 and 10 project. The contractor has informed us that hopefully the gravity pipe installation will be done this week with testing next week. Also, they have installed temporary controls for the lift system to do the testing. And then before winter sets in, they hope to do some paving for the depressions in the road that is pretty bouncy right now. And then springtime, we will follow up with them on making sure that the landscaping gets done and all the other finalization of O&Ms and all the manuals are achieved. So hopefully that's an update on the 5 and 10, something we've been waiting for, right? So this week, the COA has a veterans breakfast downstairs here at the town hall. It's free to our veterans. The only thing you have to do is call them, so that'll ensure that they have the food for everybody that's coming. It's a nice little event, and I hope you can attend. And then on the 9th will be the dinner dance for veterans at the Legion. And then on the 11th will be veterans little ceremony at 11 o'clock in front of Town Hall, Memorial Town Hall, because Heine Betzold will be upset if I did not call this Memorial Town Hall. So just giving an update on that. And just a reminder on smoke detectors, check your smoke detectors. And that's all I got.
That's good. That was a lot, Ed. Thanks. Anything, Greg? Nothing. Okay. So let me backtrack and read, as usual, our public participation policy. The Hatfield Select Board welcomes everyone to its meetings and all other public meetings of the town of Hatfield. All regular and special meetings of the boards and committees of the town of Hatfield shall be open to the public and shall conform to the open meeting law. Executive sessions are closed to the public and will be held only as prescribed by the statutes of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. It is important to recognize that the open meeting law affords the opportunity to listen to the proceedings but not necessarily participate. During meetings of the Select Board, an attempt will be made to find a balance between hearing from members of the community and conducting the required business of the Hatfield Select Board. I don't know why I don't have that memorized yet, but I don't. Okay, so moving right into, we actually have you as an agenda item, so it doesn't look like there's anyone here for public forum. We'll move right on to topic 1, which is Amy from the Historical Commission, Amy Novak, to speak to us about a historical display. Hi, Amy.
Hi. Actually, this is a request. I represent the commission, like you said. We are working in conjunction with the society in creating different ways for people of the town to see the treasures that we have at Diamondback, at the library. And due to a few schedule changes and the inability for me to attend one of our meetings, this is rather last minute, so I appreciate your time. We had thought, how cool would it be to have a display during voting when the townspeople would be able to come in, we would be out of the way. Long story short, the piece that we thought would work isn't going to work, and Meg, our curator, came up with a wonderful idea. There are 2 pieces that belong to our town. One is a voting ballot box, and one is a ballot box that they used to send out for counting. Neither one of them measure really all that large. The ballot box is quite cool. It has the slot where you obviously cast your ballot. My request to you is that if we could set up tomorrow, off to the side. I have a perfect spot kind of in my head where it would go. I've spoken to Meg and to Bob Osley. They are ready to set up with your approval, of course. There will be a sitter there at all times. We will not obstruct traffic. And we're thinking between the times of 12 and 6 o'clock. So
How nice. I think that's great. Is it the wooden one we used to use, the ballot box we used to use, I wonder? Or is it even older than that?
There's one from the 1800s.
Oh, okay. Well, I wasn't here then.
And I did not send pictures. I realized after I could have attached them to all of that, but you'll see it tomorrow if you say yes.
I voted early, Amy,
Oh,
so I
okay.
won't see it tomorrow. Can I ask just about where you might put it?
The elevator, there's a little niche right
Yep.
there, and there already is a chair there. We would not obstruct, and of course, we won't know until we really get set up. It'll be up on a table. But there is, we do want to be respectful to the flow of traffic.
Right, and I definitely don't want the elevator access obstructed.
We would be
in
off
that
to
way.
the side of
Okay.
that. It doesn't have a wide footprint.
Okay.
We looked at that area last.
Okay, so it looks
14 by 23 by 21 is the size of the actual box. And the table,
in inches. Yeah,
In
that's
inches,
small.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, I think it sounds lovely.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah,
okay.
I think it's nice.
I think it's a really nice idea.
And second phase to this is if we want to do this again, would you want us to come to you for every time we would want to have something in the town hall?
I think we
Do you
probably
understand my
should.
list?
I mean, we should.
Yeah.
It's it's a pretty simple process.
Yep.
You know, we're not trying to make this too hard on you, Amy.
No, but I
But
also see,
I think that we should always have, if there's going to be anything like that in town hall.
there's different reasons, like tomorrow is election,
Mm-hmm.
another display might be for another reason, so.
Well, there's elections in the spring. I mean, and the other thing that having you come here does is it lets townspeople now I know no one's going to see this tonight. This won't be aired until tomorrow.
Right.
Although, are we live?
It'll be on YouTube tonight. It's live now.
It's live now.
Yeah.
Okay, so there might be some people who will know. But if we did it ahead of time for another display, then people would know. So that might be nice.
All right,
Yeah.
well, I appreciate your time and thank you very much.
It's a nice idea. Very nice idea.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Appreciate
Thank you,
it.
Amy.
So our next agenda item, it was a visit from the Celebration Committee to give us an overview of their programs and discuss upcoming events, but I understand that's been postponed.
It has.
Okay.
But I apologize for interrupting, but approval of the minutes.
Oh, my
I
gosh.
see it's not on here, but
It
there
isn't on
are
there.
meeting minutes.
Okay. So we have minutes from an executive session on October 11th, a meeting on October 15th, and an executive session on October 29th and a regular meeting on October 29th.
Right, the minutes to open that meeting and then convene to executive session.
I'll make a motion that we approve the executive session meeting minutes from October 11th, the meeting minutes from October 15th, the meeting minutes from the 29th, and the executive session meeting from the 29th.
Second.
A motion made and second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Karen, thank you. Okay, appointments and resignations. So the first item under this is to designate a town representative to the school contract negotiations with the teachers and paraprofessionals. Are those used to be two separate contracts? Are they one contract now?
My understanding, they're two separate
I thought so.
contracts,
Okay,
yes.
so that's two separate contracts. And we are always, the select board is always asked to appoint a representative to those negotiations. I've done it in the past. I would like to suggest that maybe somebody other than me does it. Maybe Greg.
Last year, David Keir did. Or
Oh,
not
that's
last
right.
year, the previous.
It doesn't actually have to be a member of
previous
the board, right? Well, it can't be
Doesn't have
David
to
though,
be.
because he's going to be on the finance committee now, I think. So unless do you have a burning desire to do it?
I just don't have the time to do that. I'm involved with all the other stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm in.
Yeah. Well, you did the DPW one. You did a good job there.
Okay,
Okay.
I can do that.
Thanks, Greg. Do we have to actually vote that
Yes.
designee? So I'll make a motion that we appoint Greg Gagnon as our designee to the teacher and paraprofessional contract negotiations.
Who are you going to appoint?
Greg.
Oh, Greg, yes, I'll make a motion to appoint our esteemed colleague.
And we just needed a second.
Second.
Okay. A motion made and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. And so we have a motion to accept the resignation from David Keir as a member of the Capital Planning Improvement Committee, which he was a member at large, correct?
Correct.
And so we have his resignation from that. And that is because of his appointment, right, to the
His appointment
finance
to the
committee.
finance
So
committee,
David will be on
correct.
the finance committee now, which is a great
Yes.
addition to the finance committee. So he has to not be the finance committee, the capital planning committee designee at large, because he's going to, from what I understand, be the finance committee rep.
Yes.
So he's still going to be on capital
Yes, he
planning,
will.
but in a different capacity. So we have to accept this resignation.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to accept the resignation of David Keir from Capital Improvement Planning Committee.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, just noted that that is the at-large position as you stated. The motion I should have included that in the motion.
Okay, and then next is the appointment of David Bressam to Open Space Committee.
I'll make a motion to appoint David Bressam to the Open Space Committee.
I'll second.
Motion made and second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
So we thank him for stepping up in his interest in the Open Space Committee. David, you just missed, we just accepted your resignation from capital planning, but it doesn't really mean anything, right?
This means there's still an at-large position available.
Correct, we'll post that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're still looking for.
And I know I've said this at previous meetings, I'm the select board rep to that committee. It's actually really interesting work. You meet quite a bit for a few months, and then, by the time town meeting rolls around, your work is basically done. We did have another meeting after town meeting this year, but for extenuating special ARPA circumstances, but it's an interesting committee to be on, so putting a plug in for that. Okay, DPW report. Phil, you want to come on up? So the first item of business is a water abatement at 130 Depot Road.
DPW right now.
It looks like they had a broken meter.
Well, what happened is the house was under construction.
Right.
For 2 years, so
Right.
there was never a read because of that fact, because that's the house that caught on fire, I believe. So when he did read it, it went, they were paying the $75 minimum charge anyways, but the meter was never read for 2 years.
Okay, so then
So the meter broke during the fire.
there was a fire at that
I'm
house?
pretty sure that house had a fire in it.
Oh, okay. Geez, I didn't know that. Okay.
So the abatement is for the 177.40 to bring it back down to the adjusted bill of $75.
I see, because you believe that there was a malfunctioning meter. Okay.
I'll make a motion to abate $177.40 for James and Lori Motica based on DPW findings.
Second.
A motion made and second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approval of a new hire at the DPW?
Yes, so we have lost Paul Chapin to being a police officer in the community, and we have hired Andrew Provost, who comes very well. He's a good hire for the position.
Is he from the Plainfield DPW?
Correct.
So he has good experience. Okay. Well, I hope I get to meet him soon.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve personnel form for Andrew Provost to the DPW highway effective November 18th, 2024.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So we have these somewhat lengthy and difficult to understand and read inspection reports, bridge inspection reports from Mass DOT. I looked through them and, there's sort of no summary.
I mean, I guess the thing you should just really pay attention to is what they rate the bridge at with the numbers. So a 7's good. Anything that, as you step down to a 1, is deterioration.
I mean, but where
They
do
do give a
you
little-
see that on here? Like, I Marlene and I had a quick chat before the meeting, and I'm like, I think it's great to get these very detailed reports, but it seems like there should be sort of a summary. And I looked through it multiple times. Am I missing? I mean, it has the remarks, but it doesn't,
So like that, I have it from the Chestnut Street Bridge.
Okay.
So the deck is a 7, the superstructure's a 7.
I see.
And the structure's a 5. So the bridge is in good shape.
Find the pictures in the back of that.
I did see the pictures.
Helpful as far as efficiencies and what they found. My question, Phil, now on some of these items that are listed as far as these are our bridges, correct? We're responsible for them, or?
We're responsible to post a bridge that signs the weight limits.
Okay, so as far as,
But DOT, they're the ones that give you what the weight should be on that bridge.
But I mean, would we be responsible for repairs of these bridges? No, I mean, I assume if they're inspecting them.
They're inspecting them. And then,
But they're town-owned bridges.
they are town-owned bridges, but you would have to, if something needed major repair, I think you would have to go through like the small bridge
Oh, yeah.
program or a bridge
Okay.
program through the state.
So the Chestnut Street Bridge, which wasn't done all that long ago, right?
I don't know, it says,
Is this the one over the highway or the little one this is Watermill River?
Yeah, the little wooden one.
So it's the little one with the huge pipe next to it that's such an eyesore.
the little bridge.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
By
Okay.
Aggies.
The narrow bridge that I
Yeah.
always meet a car on, no matter what.
That's-
yeah.
So I guess where on this are we supposed to know that 7 is good and 5 is okay? Like, they don't really give you, I don't know.
So I guess it really doesn't tell you where.
Yeah, that's why a summary or
These are extremely detailed reports, but that
just
the average person looks at it and is like, okay, well, what, just give it to me,
yeah,
give me the straight news.
yeah. Or an
So-
update from you, Phil, would, when these do come in.
Certainly, I appreciate
I
this.
would get alarmed if a bridge was under a 4
Okay,
or a
so,
3,
so-
if it's in that category. But they'll write like they did with the culvert, they'll say that,
Well, I was just going to ask you about that, but we're responsible for that, though. And they issued an inspection report for that.
right. Yes.
But
So
we
we
are
received the
responsible.
inspection report.
topic here.
Well,
I'm just saying about the report. So when they did the culvert, they said that you had sufficient deficiencies within that culvert. They noted that, they put it like high alert.
Sufficient deficiencies?
So,
So getting back to my original question, we have some bridges that have some minor deficiencies on these bridges. They're missing required signs as far as DOT is concerned. Are we are responsible for these repairs, or is there grants, or does the state make available money for repairs, or how do we get some of this addressed?
you would have to go through the Mass DOT State Bridge Program. And of course, their priority list is very lengthy. I
Okay,
mean,
but
something that's got little cracks or needs resurfacing, they're just gonna,
can I just back up, just to be clear, so people listening to this know? We're talking about the small bridge over the Mill River and Chestnut Street, but it's rated as a 7, a 7, and a 5. So that is not a bridge that needs any work. Okay. The other bridge we're talking about is the Maple Street Bridge over the Mill River, which is rated a 6, 6, and 6. Also good. So they don't need any work. However, we have a letter here that just about some signage that's needed on the Chestnut Street Bridge regarding the weight limits on that bridge. So, I mean, all things considered, needing some new signs I just want to make sure people aren't hearing us and alarmed that there's something structurally wrong with the bridges, right? Okay.
and Mass DOT is expecting the town to respond to this, right?
I believe so. I mean,
Regarding the signs I'm
yes,
talking
because
about.
it came up before at one point.
And I'm assuming we have to get the signs through them.
Correct.
I mean, the deficiencies that are reported are minor. It's mostly signage. There was a couple parts of rails that needed to be checked. There was one that had just some of those areas. So it's just, I assume we're taking care of that. The DPW's taking care of that, or?
It's all minor repairs.
Yeah, it's nothing structural.
It's nothing
Right.
structural.
Okay.
Right.
I mean, their big thing is the weight limits, because if something goes over heavy, and obviously if it's not posted and something happens to the bridge, then.
So the weight limits haven't changed since last year. So that's a good sign.
Just that the sign's missing.
Yeah.
Right, so we're gonna take care of getting the signs. Okay.
The graffiti under the bridges is interesting. That's just something shown in the pictures. It's like, okay.
Didn't know that was there.
I didn't know that was there either. All right, so Phil, townspeople can feel confident in the structural integrity of both bridges.
Absolutely.
And we will be taking care of
The sign.
the signage. Okay, then there's this other letter from Green International Affiliates. This is the 91 bridges, right?
Yes.
All right, am I moving ahead too fast, or are we good with the other, are you guys good with the Chestnut Street and the Maple Street bridge reports, Ed?
Yes.
Okay, so then there's this other document in here about the 2 bridges over 91.
Right, which is one in Whately, which we're not part of us, but
Yeah,
it's by the old dial tone, that bridge. That goes over 91, I
but
believe.
that's in Hatfield.
Yeah, it will be, I believe that's the one they're talking about on this other report, according to the picture here.
They're listing 3 bridges. One is
Three of
the
them,
one is
yeah.
the one on West Street, and the other 2 are both in Whately.
Mass DOT is going to do work on that bridge, and they're just looking for comments from the
My
board.
understanding that they have a 25% design.
Correct, right here. So if anybody would like to come in and view, this map will be available in the town administrator's office.
As well as. the
So
bridge.
why did they include the Whately bridges in our,
Generic.
okay. So the only bridge in Hatfield is the one, if you go past Pantry Road heading north,
Yes,
like right before the log home.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Like Kenwood
Yeah.
Motel, yes.
Exactly,
Which
yep,
is a Mass DOT structure.
right.
And
Okay,
the other one, just for people's information, that you probably have been seeing them working on the bridge over the railroad tracks on Elm Street. So that's another one that's already at 25% design.
Yeah, that's in
there's been
design.
a bunch
They're-
of cars
yeah.
parked there, is that what's going on?
But the state has taken care of, from Chestnut Street Bridge over 91 all the way up to Berniston. They're working on all those bridges going over 91 according to DOT last year. I already did Chestnut Street. They're working underneath it. And then they have all the other bridges that they're taking care of. And the last one would be, the big one would be the one over the railroad tracks on Elm Street, which there's people out there, they're doing measurements and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that might even be a little bit further along than the other bridges already.
That's,
They started
that
that.
road
line.
is in terrible shape. What an eyesore that whole
But
area
it's
is.
it's a longer process because of the railroad. But Mass DOT owns the tracks.
Well, this is all part of that infrastructure money. All the bridges are finally getting done in this area, which is sort of nice.
So that's why if you drive up 5 going towards Whately and they didn't pave part of that bridge,
That's why.
that bridge is why they did the road, but they left the bridge.
The road looks really great. It's much better. So, all right.
Yeah.
I've been seeing a lot of cars parked on the Elm Street Bridge. That's part of this
There's
project?
people looking at it. I don't know if it's bidders or it's just subcontractors or
The
something.
cars are odd-looking cars.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that?
There's one car, I think it has a Connecticut license plate, it's just been sitting there. I don't know if it was abandoned, but it's been there for days.
I
It
didn't
was
see
there
it when I
last,
came
it was
back.
there last Thursday and Friday, I believe, and it was there this morning.
I
And
don't
there
think it was there when I just came back.
Oh, okay.
But on the bridge that we're talking about near Kenwood, I believe DOT is requesting us to do a hearing in case there's any concerns of people before they do that bridge. Is that
To a public
is that what I'm reading?
Do
So
we have
we-
any time? I don't see any timeframes in here to do that hearing. We do the hearing?
No, they're asking that you solicit any comments that you might wish to make regarding the project.
And comments are online.
Written comments should be submitted within 30 days, and this information will be put on the town's website if anybody is interested in looking at these plans. But the select board has any comments, I think that's what they do want, public comments as well.
I mean, usually the comments that most towns provide for bridges is ensuring somehow that their emergency vehicles will be able to get across them. If
As
long as-
well as, I think if we're going to make comments, we should make comments to Mass DOT regarding utilities being able to be hung under that bridge, so you don't have to go under 91 again. It's a lot easier to keep it under the bridge instead of it going,
Like a water and sewer line if we were to,
because you don't know, you don't know from
Well, I mean, we gotta-
50 years
we're-
from now, if you're going to run a sewer that far.
50 years, I would hope it would be sooner than that.
I didn't see anything in here about holding a public hearing. that
I didn't
the
either.
town
That's
is-
why when you said that, I was
I
just,
don't think the town is required to have a public hearing.
no, but that's not what he's saying. He's saying
I'm
that
saying for comments.
they're looking for comments from us.
Right.
But I didn't see anything in here either,
Yeah.
even
But I
about
said
that.
usually they do hold public hearings meetings
Oh, they-
before.
yes.
Before.
It says we
They have in the past.
review and solicit any comments.
Because the other bridge on Chestnut, when we put the water line down, we didn't have the opportunity to hang any utilities in any bays under there.
So they want comments within 30 days.
Days.
And this is from October 17th, so we're closing in. Were you going to write something up?
Sure.
Maybe you could write something up and I'll sign it if you want.
Yeah, I think the select board should submit it.
Do we have a meeting before the 17th?
No, next meeting is the 19th.
Okay.
I'll just write it and somebody from the select board and send it.
Just that you want to make sure that we
Yeah,
can,
you have to have a utility base within that bridge somehow.
okay. Okay,
A few years ago, $400,000 to go under 91 because there was no utility bay.
Well, sounds like it's a good call. Okay, we'll do that.
yeah. Okay, are we all set on the bridge?
I guess so. I mean, as long as we're responding to them in a timely manner so they can move this project along, that's all that's important.
Okay, next item, request $27,837 for stormwater asset management plan. So Phil, when we did all these articles, I thought all of the money was included in that. And so that's a shock to me that we didn't fully fund those through the articles. And then do I understand you're looking for ARPA funds for this?
Yeah, Phil and I had talked about it, and
Because I guess under when they had the initial meetings about the assessment plans for water, sewer, and stormwater, that the money wasn't appropriated on the stormwater side, because the other one came out of the enterprise fund, correct?
yes, the drinking water and the wastewater came out of the water and
There was
sewer.
no money
enterprise.
allocated for the stormwater.
Well, there was an authorization, I believe, to borrow. However, the treasurer doesn't feel that, based on a discussion with the financial advisors, that we need to borrow because the money comes back to the town fairly quickly. So is that grant is
Where does it
covering
come
the
from?
total amount? But we have to, it's a reimbursable grant.
Yeah, this is a grant, yeah, right.
But will the grant cover the town's contribution? No.
No, the town
So
has to
it
provide
has
the
to-
cash.
So it has to come out of ARPA funds, or
Well, no, so it doesn't have to come out of, the ARPA funds, and I'm glad you're here, David. We were very clear with the ARPA funds that were left was going to be dedicated only to things that were on the ARPA project, and they've already been delineated, and we're waiting for them to sort of shake out and make sure things aren't a little more expensive than we thought. So we specifically were not going to put anything, we're not going to use ARPA funds for anything that wasn't on that plan, and this wasn't on the plan.
The initial plan was for it to come out of a borrow,
To come out of what?
to borrow the money.
So why would she say we're going to get it back if he's saying we're not getting that part back?
So
The town's contribution, you're not going to get reimbursed for.
And that's the town's contribution. So why wasn't that all part of
I don't
when we
have
were
that
doing all
paperwork
the?
with me. I don't have that paperwork with me.
But I mean, when we were
Yes.
doing all of this, and David, I don't know how you feel, because that would absolutely wipe out, right, the ARPA funds, and we have some projects, we're not sure how they're coming in. I mean, what would be our other funding mechanism for that? Because we were pretty clear that we weren't going to spend those ARPA funds on anything that wasn't on the capital plan. So what would be our other options?
So this is not reimbursable.
This is the yes, this is the portion that would not, it's our town portion of this asset management plan.
So the grant would not be reimbursing the town.
Well, the grants get reimbursable, but not that portion.
That's what I'm saying, that we get reimbursed for,
I see what
The
you're
grants for
saying.
like 200 and something thousand.
Yeah.
The town's contribution into that is
Of the total cost is
27,000.
the
but I mean,
27,000.
why wasn't this all part of the discussion when we were talking about this and doing the town meeting and preparing all of this? Because we could have made provisions at town meeting to take care of it. I guess why are we hearing about it now, is one of my questions.
Initially was part of that discussion that portion, because it's the stormwater portion, had to come out of taxation or had to come out of the general fund somehow. Because the other one's all coming out of the enterprise fund.
So then the treasurer is
we have
wrong
the
about
article?
her assessment that we shouldn't borrow because we're going to get it back because we're not getting that
I'm
back.
going to look at the
You
town meeting
pull up the article and see
authorization.
how it read. Because I thought that was already,
But we had other people ask about things to use the ARPA funds, and we said, no, if it wasn't part of the capital plan, we weren't going to do it. And we're still waiting on some of the projects to shake out.
We got about 7 weeks left.
Well, as long as they're contracted by
No, that's
then.
okay,
Yeah,
to get everything under contract, and then whatever your last meeting in December is, you're gonna have to authorize the use of the balance of the ARPA funds, I'm assuming.
That has to be done.
For whether you're to buy turnout gear or whatever, something that can be spent quickly.
and that was what we didn't commit to that, but we sort of said,
Something that's easily purchased in a short period of time.
Right.
Without having to go through a bidding
Right.
process or something like that.
never a problem spending, only getting.
Like, we ordered a new greensboro at the golf course 6 weeks ago, which we aren't gonna get until the spring of 2026.
can you believe that's still happening?
Yeah,
Yeah.
$60,000 piece of equipment that we can't get for 18 months.
So Marlene's going to check on,
Yeah, I'm checking.
But I mean, the
here. I
wording
keep
of
getting all
the-
these pop-ups.
Oh, while she's checking on that, Phil, I had a question. When they did the water line on 5 and 10, remember we decided to replace the water line. Did they provide any documentation to you on what they installed and connections and point of connections, or any documents or anything so that we know what was installed, how it was installed, and where all the access points are to all the houses?
I'm sure that comprehensive environmental has everything. The plan of the water line, because that was the first piece of that project.
Right, that
before they
was
put the sewer in.
first thing done.
Because it was my understanding that all the taps were made to the new line, the house taps.
Did we receive any documentation?
No,
That's what we should follow up, right?
well, I have.
Oh, I don't think we have either. I haven't seen anything.
well,
Just like on this project, I'm
that
going to
should- isn't that
expect
part of-
documentation at the end of this project and all the connection points and elevations, all that. I know we originally saw what the design was, but the final, we should get the final in case anything got moved.
Marlene,
or-
what are you thinking the article's going to show anyway?
So, well, I wanted to take a look and see what the wording was. So the total amount of the project for the stormwater asset management plan is $199,928. The authorization was for a borrowing, and the appropriation was contingent upon an award by Mass DEP for a grant of $136,659.
So-
So I think so the grant is 136. The town's cash is the 27,000. And so again, I don't have that breakdown. I don't have those documents with me.
So I just
but
don't
where-
understand if it's a reimbursable grant that the whole amount wasn't borrowed, including the 27,000.
Yeah, why can't we just?
I don't understand why if that isn't the case, it's just that you're not gonna get it back. But I think that the borrow was for the whole grant, and then whatever they pay you back, and the rest is on the town.
Is
And it's
our-
only gonna be the 27,000
Right.
because the other one's coming out of the enterprise fund.
The article,
The other one coming out of the enterprise fund, what other one?
To the assessments.
Yeah, this article I'm speaking to is just for the stormwater.
yeah, but that authorizes the borrowing, so you're right, it authorizes the borrowing of this small amount.
So then I don't
So the
understand.
whole amount of the 199 should have been borrowed.
So can you just double check with the
Yeah,
treasurer?
I
Because
will.
it was
Yes,
a
of course.
borrowing
Yes.
authorization.
But wasn't there some in-kind services as well?
I believe there was, I don't have, again, I don't have.
The between those amounts. Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to clear up, is that discrepancy is because the in-kind
Right.
is in there, but the cash value was to 27,000.
Yeah, there were in-kind services for some of these projects.
So if I hear you, I hear that the town authorized the borrowing of this already.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay.
I mean, it's something we involve.
I'll follow, certainly have another conversation with the treasurer, but she was asking me about where the 27,000 was coming from.
Once we did all asset management plans, is that you had to borrow the entire amount.
Okay, so are we good on that? You all set? So the next item is the discussion of water and sewer enterprise debt and revenues with the Finance Committee, specifically regarding future rate increases, but obviously we have to wait for the Finance Committee to get here. So we'll move ahead with a few other items.
Can I just speak for a minute?
Yes.
So I just want to mirror what Ed had said about, the update with the Route 5 project. So it's going to be active, but I don't think that anyone is going to hook up this winter to it unless their septic fails, of course. But if I was a resident down there, I would start making plans for the springtime to get a contractor in there because they're going to be hooked up. If you have any intention of hooking into the source.
And you think that they will be
They'll be
ready
able
to
to. I
do
mean,
that? So we should let residents know that.
Yes.
I mean,
I
we should
really,
communicate
there's
that.
been a lot of questions, about that, when can I hook up? So I think it's gonna be the spring, but I would get a hold of a contractor now.
Yeah.
And on DPW letterhead, send out a letter to all those businesses,
That they will
residents.
be able to hook up in the spring.
I mean, spring only makes sense, it's already November. I mean, it doesn't, and you want to make sure it gets tested. yeah.
a failure, we could make that happen. Okay. We should let them know that, because they may not know if we don't tell them about the spring work.
But we should give a date,
You know how backed up they are, so
Yeah.
arrangements now to get somebody there in the spring.
Thanks, Amy.
but we should give them a date of when they can tie in, right? Or start, whether it be March or April.
As soon as everything's tested and, everything should be all set, hopefully.
I'd rather wait because they have not hit any of the target dates yet that they provided us. So,
My only concern is the temporary electric that they have set up at the pump station.
but I know I saw where they're at this morning and I know they're
They're
very close.
close.
It'll be nice to get that road fixed though, because people are driving way over on the other
Well,
side.
last year, if you remember, what he did is he milled a little bit of it off and repaved it so it was smooth. So hopefully that's his intent this year.
He doesn't have much time left.
Would you suggest that any certain contractors in that letter to them, or they should, somebody's gonna call and say, well, who should I call?
Well, I don't think we're
don't-
able to do that.
I think so either.
No, we
Yeah.
can't do that, Dave. We can't do that.
Which brings up the subject of maybe further down the road that, like other communities have like a certified contractors list within their communities. So they can just provide it.
I'm not
We
sure. if
worked out the
anybody's-
hookup issue on the Church Street.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry.
She's hooked up.
Okay.
They still got to do Church Street? I mean, or is that part done? The lift station to Church Street, was that done? The piping?
Yes.
Okay. They go underneath the bridge?
And
or-
there's other people asking what the elevations are, because they want to hook in, so.
Because I thought, as far as an email we got a few weeks ago, they said that there was some connections required under the owner's driveway that had to be done.
Sure, everything is connected down there. It's just a matter of the electric. Because he says he wants to activate that soon, that pump station, so.
Because they were talking about testing the pump station next week,
Yep,
so I assume that,
it's all set, hopefully.
but then again, we've lost a lot of faith in this project too.
Okay, can we move forward with some other, Marlene, we'll go ahead to the town administrator report, the COA Center floor removal and installation bid solicitation.
Yes, so that bid solicitation has been published. So estimated cost of that project is $125,000. Select Board did fund $100,000 from ARPA funds for the floor. And so, you know, we're hoping it comes in less. We'll have to look at,
There is a little bit left in what we had left in ARPA for this very
there is a
reason.
little bit, and I have gone through that list as of today. And currently there's there's 2 projects that are completed, and those balances total $1,303 at this point. So that would be available
Okay.
in addition to the balance.
So we'll
that's
wait and see what happens
unobligated.
with the bids.
Yes, and I'm waiting to hear back from some other departments on whether their projects have been
I
completed.
know I never failed to mention it when we talk about this, but it boggles my mind that people can do such shoddy work and we just have to pay for it again. Like I just don't understand
Yeah,
how
very
that could be.
disappointing.
All right,
But this
so-
project wouldn't take place until January. Bids are due November 14th.
But we'll have a contract in place by December
We will.
31st, so we're good with the
That's
ARPA
the
funds.
plan.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, thanks for staying on top of that, Marlene.
Oh, you're welcome.
Okay, so next is the approval of the agreement to, it says license property.
License the property, yes, that's the legal term as
Even
town
the-
council.
This is leasing, licensing or leasing the town property on Billings Way to Harrison Bardwell.
Right.
Who uses it for farming purposes.
And this is the third
Agriculture.
year. So next year it will have to go out to bid again. But this is for the growing season, April 1st, 2025 to November 1st, 2025.
And we do this like every year. And there's,
Well, not every year. So this was for, I think this is over a 3-year period. This is the last year.
Right, so
He had
we do the agreement every year, but we bid it every 3
Oh, right,
years.
you're right, absolutely. So you have the option we have the option to renew.
right, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's great he's using the land for that. He's a good steward of the land, and we appreciate that.
I'll make a motion to approve the agreement to license property on Billings Way with Harrison Bardwell for agricultural purposes from April 1st, 2025 to November 1st, 2025.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We thank Harrison and wish him luck with next growing season. Okay, surplus property. We have a desk that is surplus.
An old desk, yes, to be disposed of.
I'll make a motion to declare office desk surplus for disposal.
Second.
Okay. Motion made and second. Any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So allocation of ARPA funds, we just kind of had that discussion.
We just had that discussion, yes.
Okay. Great. And then topic 8, which is endorsement of environmental bond legislation, EEA, to support creating a Connecticut River Watershed Fund.
Yeah. EOEEA would be the Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs. And there wasn't much time to provide this letter of support. I consulted with the Select Board Chair, and actually there was some work being done with other agencies through PVPC as an example, for projects that would, be submitted through a state agency for funding. And then this request actually came from Senator Comerford's office, asking that there be regional support for this legislative bill. And this is to create a fund for creation of a Connecticut River watershed, for the Connecticut River watershed.
Thanks, Marlene. Anybody have any?
Welcome.
So we just got to make a motion on this to support?
No, actually, it's informational.
Okay.
If this legislation should pass, then I'm certain Hatfield will be applying for funds. For, mitigation purposes,
Okay.
future.
Okay. So that takes care of all of our agenda items with the exception of the water and sewer enterprise discussion, which we need to wait for some more finance committee people to arrive. And then we do have an executive session later on, but I guess we could take a break. Anything else anybody wants to add, or you good? Nothing?
No, I'm good. We'll
So
take a break.
we'll go ahead and take a break until we have finance committee here.